Hey everybody, this is Jason from the Rogue Banshee, and thank you for joining Team Banshee today as we talk about the Hi-Point JXP. JXP is a 10mm pistol with a metal slide and a composite frame. Now, one thing about Hi-Point is, well, they're big, they're clunky, and they're very utilitarian. But on the other side, if you're looking to get into firearms on the cheap, these things will do the job. Now, they redesigned the slide of the JXP. They put these angle cuts in, so that way it's not quite this big square on the top, and it's a little easier to grab and rack. Speaking of racking, this thing's pretty clunky and not quite refined, but that's a Hi-Point. It's not designed to be the high-end SIGs or Smith & Wessons or anything like that. It's a Hi-Point. It's an American-made gun that's about $200, and it comes with a lifetime warranty. Even though this thing feels like a brick in your hand, ergonomics are not the worst. I mean, I've had better, but I've definitely had a lot worse. And this thing does actually fit your hand pretty nice. And compared to the other Hi-Points, this has a redesigned grip, and that redesigned grip really does stick to your hand. You got a very good purchase of this firearm to keep control, which is great because this is a heavy recoiling gun. Now, believe it or not, I've not cleaned this thing. This is running the original factory oil. I've not oiled it. I've not done anything. I just wanted to take it out and shoot it and see how it did. And I was surprised that I really didn't have any failure to feeds or failure to fires. And adding a threaded barrel to this thing is pretty cool. Though with the weight of this pistol, I'm not sure I'm going to want to put any more weight on this gun. And speaking of weight, this thing's coming in at just under 50 ounces, which is pretty heavy for a gun. Now, also speaking about weight, it has a very heavy trigger. And right now, we're pulling in at about 10 pounds, 5 ounces. That's pretty heavy for a striker fire. Now, this trigger has a lot of creep on it. Probably one of the worst triggers I've ever felt. But for $200, having a gun is better than not having one at all. Now, one of the things I don't like about Hi-Points is there's no slide release to these things. On an empty mag, it will lock back, but I have no way of releasing the slide unless I pull back and let it go. But if I have an empty mag and I want this thing to be home, I'll actually need to drop the mag, rack the slide, before that slide will go home. Now, if I have no mag at all and I want to lock this back, I can use the safety to lock that back. Now, the mag release button on this thing is a little far forward for me. I have to move my hand in order to hit that mag release. And for as big as this thing is, I would expect to have a little more than a single stack mag. Now, accuracy is not bad. What I actually think is the gun's more accurate than the shooter because of that trigger. It's such a heavy pull, and the design of this trigger with these little wings, and it's just not quite comfortable. But for a $200 gun, it's not bad, especially being a 10mm. Now, on this string, you're going to see that the bullets are kind of rising up on the steel. Because what I did is I shot the steel, aimed at that to see where the next bullet was, and you can see it rose up. I aimed at that one, and it went up again. It's heavy and feels like a brick. Trigger's not that great. But for $200, you have a 10mm. There's no other 10mm out there for $200. And so far, this thing has not failed to perform for me. And I haven't cleaned it or oiled it. It's not an awful gun. It's just not the greatest either. It's exactly what it is. It's designed to get you into firearm shooting without spending a lot of money, and you can learn the fundamentals. I really wish that Hi-Point would give us a slide release. But on the other side about this thing is this is the same mag as the 1095, the 10mm carbine, which is really awesome. Which means for about $550, you can get a pistol and a rifle that share the same mag. If you're watching YouTube, click that video right there. That's a video where I restored a Winchester 94 Golden Spike. Thanks for watching. Hope you're staying safe out there. Look forward to seeing you again soon.